Alright, so today we have Bradford White gallon, how much is it? See, 2 + 2 gallon, I don't know what that is, maybe it's a 20 gallon they're trying to say. So, water heater, tank water heater, electric tank water heater. So let's go through some things with tank water heaters. Now, they are the gas, they have the electric, and they also have solar that carries a tank. Many people think that the solar water heater do not have a tank. It have to store the water somewhere. So it have the electric and it have the solar and plus the gas water heater. Well, we get a connection there. So we connect in the hot and the cold to the heater in this space here. Right, so as you reach this stage here, let me just explain some stuff for you. I'm going to go into all details about it, but this is about it. So this is a tank water heater. What we usually do is put a check valve which prevents the water from going back into the cold side. Right, so as you reach this stage, I'm going to just explain some things for you. Now, when you're watching a heater from the front where the electrical elements are and controls inside this area here, we look at the cold side and the hot side. Majority of the time you may get a nipple. So if you get a nipple in the heater, the nipple will be male thread, so you have to put a female thread fitting onto it. Now, in this heater here, the cold is on the right and the hot is on the left. Some heaters come where the connections are at the side of the heater, and with that now, the cold will always be the bottom connection. Unless it have some sort of dip tube inside, the cold is 99% at the time, as far as I saw, is to the bottom and the hot comes to the top. Now a water heater tank always have water in it. So once it's full, the only way to get out the water is by draining the tank. So once you fill the heater, you could never say where you put on the heater and the heater element burn out because it didn't have no water in it, or water gone, so the tank empty. The tank always have water and will continue to heat when the temperature of the water reach below the point for the thermostat in this area. It will turn back on. So on the cool side, we tend to put a check valve. That is for any backflow where pressure may be built up in the line, because this is like a pressure cooker. When a pressure cooker reach a certain temperature, well, a pressure cooker majority of the time reach a boiling point, which will allow gases to want to escape. Understand? So this don't really reach boiling point. If it reach a point beyond recommended for the heater, it have this valve, the safety valve here, mechanism at the side here. We call it pressure relief valve. So when the pressure reaches a certain height, it will discharge. So if you have too much pressure in the line, it will discharge, and if it reaches a certain temperature, it will discharge. So in this now, it have a spring inside. The spring keeps attention onto the seating, push the washer onto the seating, so it always have a pressure onto it. So if the heat reaches a certain temperature, this whole thing will heat up and heat the spring, and that will make the spring release. Something similar to your radiator. It have a valve in your radiator in your car on the engine block. This valve allow water to flow when the car reaches a certain temperature for the radiator water to cool the engine. Well, even on much more cars, you're doing something there. So this is something similar. So it does two different things. Where if pressure is greater than a certain psi, it will release the pressure, and that's according to what type of valve you have, because they have different levels. So according to what valve you have, it will release at a certain psi, also a certain temperature. This will also release. Back to the check valve. So we put up check valve facing in, so because we don't want the water coming back. Then we put a union, two unions to disconnect. Alright, so the unions are to disconnect. The valve is to lock off the cold side. So once there is no water coming in, water hardly comes out. So that's what we have here. So we're going to connect it to this here, the hot and cold lines, and I will show you what goes with that. And we straight run, nothing difficult, straight in, and of course the electrical will hook up later on. It have two wires inside here which will hook up if it's 220 or even if it's 110, two wires inside there, one wire for ground. So the wire that you're running will be three spawns, so three wires. However you want to run it, three single wires, three in an arm and cable, however it may be. Three wires have to come to this to supply. So you always have to check and make sure that your heater is either 110, or if you can convert from 110, 120 to 240. So this one, as you can see, this one is, let me see, 240, 208. And then they show you how much amps it will be pulling off of that. And then even if it don't have the amps, you could actually have a calculation to work out amps, how much it will be drawing. So this more or less will take like well, they say they're drawing 10 amps for 240 volts. So anyway, around 220 to 240, you're drawing about 10 amps. So that varies according to what type of element you have. So according to what element you have is according to how much amps you draw. The lower the voltage, sometimes it's carry up your sometimes it carry up your amperage higher. So that's it there. So right, connection made, everything looking straight, neat. What's this? So that's our connection. Now, if we're watching the change in pipe type, this is CPVC. This color here, CPVC, and this one is the PVC pipe. Now, for heat transfer, of course, we know that heat transfer through certain objects faster than others. So we don't want the heat to transfer onto the cool. So we put a piece of hot in between this area valve. So we don't connect the coal direct to the heater, because this is metal and this will also carry a great temperature, a great deal of temperature through it. So it will pass on to the brass, and then it will kind of dissipate through the CPVC line, because plastic wouldn't carry heat, so transfer heat as fast as or as easy as metal pipes or fittings. So this will dissipate some of the heat, so by the time we reach up here, it wouldn't be as hot as down on this area here. On this side here, well, we run straight CPVC to the hot water. So what goes on with the heater now is that the water comes in at one point into the heater, and it have a dip tube for the cool side only that goes down to the bottom, because we all know that hot water rises. So the outlet for the heater, which is the hot, connects to the top. So any water that at the top that hot will come through here. So this just goes right into here. But in this area here, for the cool, it have a dip tube, goes to the bottom, and it will be heated by the element in this area here. Now, if it was a side connection, hence the reason why I said that the side connection connects to the bottom, because the cool water is enter the bottom, and the hot water will come through the top. So that's it for you all here. A little intake on the water heater. Of course, if you don't know what this is the drain cork to drain the heater in case you need to flush the heater.